So, all right. Pardon. I'm live streaming off of YouTube, and I'm also doing it on TikTok. So I'm going to be like zooming in this way. So guys, please follow Econ World One. His name is Todd Buchholz. He's an actual economist on this app. Please absolutely do that because yeah, for one, he's a brilliant mind. But the other thing is, I like his book is the book that I'm covering in my book club. All right, so I'm still working on getting my YouTube set up so YouTube can actually see my head. Okay, so that's a problem. All right. Oh my gosh, this is just awful. But I think okay. All right, let's see. Let's see. Nope. Alrighty. Thanks, Chad. Okay, all right, guys. Let's see. What if I go over here? How about that? No, that's the thing. All right. I have a better idea. Uh-huh. There we go. Okay. All right. Sorry for this setup delay. All right. Now, what if I do this with my phone? No, that won't work either. Okay. Okay, nope, that still doesn't do anything on my YouTube. Oh man, I'm a mess. Um, hmm. Oh, I have 2 viewers on YouTube. Okay, yeah, I gotta stay on for you guys. Okay. Thank you guys for being so patient. Hold on. All right, so if I set this up here, and I set this up here, so I'll have my YouTube and I'll have my TikTok. 1, 2. Ah! Ha ha! All right. So normally, guys, I'm responding to YouTube, but this time I'm responding to TikTok just because I need the numbers on TikTok. So everybody here, follow Econ World One. His name is Todd Buchholz. He's the author of this book, which I'm covering in my book club, New Ideas from Dead Economists. Hello, Armchair Brunian Rants. Doing pretty good. So this is the book in my book club. I asked an economist, Christopher Clark, about it. I set up a group chat in my Patreon for this book club. So anyone who wants to join the book club, it's very simple. Just go to my Patreon, sign up for tier 1, which is like $5 a month, and then you join the chat. There hasn't been a lot of input yet. I've just been putting content. Oh, Armchair, please come on in. And I've been getting a lot of DMs. I've been getting a lot of DMs and private messages about the book and everything. And I'm telling everybody, just go to the chat in Patreon. These are already people who pay for my Patreon. So, it's not like they have to like start. Oh, thank you very much, Armchair. It's not like they have to start like contributing because they've already been doing it. So, yeah, but I'm actually going to be interviewing the economist who wrote this. And this guy was an economist for the White House like 20, 30 years ago. He wrote this book initially in 1989, and every few years, every 5 or 6 years, he updates it. And it's incredible work. Really is. This dude thinks. Oh, user 951. No. I don't consider myself to be an expert. I'm just much, much more informed than most people. But I have experts in the field of what I talk about agree with me. So when I have actual economists who are saying that I'm correct, then that kind of just negates anything you have to say. I mean, when the head of the Chicago FDIC recommends people to follow me, that's kind of a thing. Sharing knowledge, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a funny thing. Some people just enjoy knowing things, but I enjoy like discussing stuff. I have 0 viewers on YouTube. Okay. Sorry, YouTube. Didn't mean to disappoint you. So, thank you very much. Well, if you think I'm fantastic, then this book, you should absolutely read it. New Ideas from Dead Economists. This guy, he really is something, and please follow him. Follow this guy. I'm doing this live just so you guys follow Econ World 1. He needs 200 followers to get on TikTok. He has like 58 or 59 now, so we need 141 more followers. 141 more followers. Oh, hey, I got 2 more people on YouTube. Thanks. So guys, I'm not going to be able to see your questions on YouTube. So if you have any questions, just go on TikTok. Um, Sorry about that. And every time I read this book, I learn something new. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people who like just writes all over the book because I have so many notes. And I will talk about this book, and then Adam Blank. Hello, Adam Blank. You're adding yourself. So again, guys, just please follow Econ World One for the reasons I said before. Now, what I did in my earlier live was it was a couple days ago. I was just talking about the merits of this book, and I'm going to keep doing that. So I just jump over. What I do is I just jump over. Do I think Canada will be fine from this tariff situation? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think we broke Canada's economy during the Great Depression with these tariffs, and I think we'll do it again. Um, I think we'll do it again if we stay on this course. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be negative or pessimistic, but anyway, like I'm just gonna keep trying to plug this book. I don't, and I don't know. Should we be terrified that the dollar will collapse? I've been seeing this. I don't know. I don't think the dollar's gonna collapse. The dollar is losing value, but I don't think it's gonna collapse. It's still too strong. He's at 62 followers. Yay! All right, guys. So we have to get him to 138 more followers in order for me to have a discussion with him because he already agreed to do it, but he has to have enough followers to qualify on TikTok. All right. Yeah. Yeah. This is. Yeah, I'm just going over the parts of this book that I marked. So again, guys, please follow Econ World One. Here's something really funny. I'm going to mention in page 6 of this book. Where in this book they're talking about the Catholic Church and morality and like what's the just price for things. So I'm just going to read this passage, first paragraph, page 6. This is neither a comfortable position nor one terribly conducive to studying economics. They spoke on economics because it was a duty to their flock, but the duty was to guide the flock to heaven, not to a higher standard of living. When Protestants split the flock, the task grew even less manageable. Sorry guys. Wrong. Oh, thank you very much for following him, James. Okay, guys. Okay, let me just get back. I messed up. I should have gone to an earlier. I actually should have gone to a bit of an earlier page. I'm going to read again. In the Middle Ages, theologians debated economic issues. The Catholic schoolmen struggled over questions of justice and morality in the marketplace. In particular, they devised the doctrine of the just price and refined the Church's view of usury. Whereas the Old Testament specifically forbade lending at interest to members of the same community, medieval theologians tried to separate the different components of interest, such as risk, opportunity cost, inflation, and inconvenience. So isn't that crazy? That usury was like a mortal sin, was like a horrendous sin. And usury, that's just lending at interest. Yet that's how the world works. The world floats because of usury. Oh, hey, Rebel Intel. Thank you very much, guys. I would recommend giving Rebel Intel a follower. He leans a bit to the right, but we need that kind of perspective. And like, even though he does say some things that I consider to be outrageous, and I'm sure I say things he considers to be outrageous, we've managed to have a very pleasant discussion about 2-3 weeks ago on YouTube. So armchair Bruneian rents. Us Muslims have that lending rule. Oh, now there we go. Oh, you call it a riba. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it sounds good, but here's the thing. If you are not lending at interest, somebody else is. Like, if you're a country that doesn't lend at interest, another country will. And another country will gain the economic advantage. It is every country's duty to do everything they can to seek the greater advantage of that country. That's why it's like Bill Maher. Yeah, exactly. Rebel Intel. Are you talking about our discussion? Yeah. So, oh yeah, but it's like, okay, perfect example. America right now. Oh, thank you so much, Rebel Intel. You don't have to gift me. You don't. No, guy. No, I don't deserve that from you. Thank you very much, Rebel Intel. It's very. Oh, come on. Make me. This is. You want to know how to shut me up? Give me gifts, Rebel. I'll shut up because then I get like bashful. But I wanted to say, what America's doing right now is we are promoting protectionism because we are claiming that we want to reshore American jobs. I know, Rebel. We want to reshore American jobs. And so this country is adopting a policy of just, yeah, we're only going to employ Americans. So even if it's going to be more expensive to make products, we're going to do it. Okay, great. So now we are the world's largest, importer. We are the second largest manufacturer, and all of a sudden we're just having our costs skyrocket by the reshoring of jobs, and we are not using the advantage of exporting our labor needs to other countries. But China is, Japan is, several countries in the European Union are. Every other major competitor with the US economy is absolutely exporting their labor needs to get much cheaper prices so they can undercut anyone that they can in the market. So what we're doing if we only do pure, oh yeah, like American made, then we are killing ourselves when it comes to competitive pricing. Oh, 10K likes, that's okay. This is a thank you very much. Um, as Muslims, we're not trying to do that. We're trying to build strong local community. I mean, it is good to have a strong local community, but other countries have exploited, like countries that didn't pursue advantage. Like, perfect example, in this book, New Ideas from Dead Economists, he talks about it, how in the 17th century, 1600s in China, China had all the resources they need to completely beat England at the Industrial Revolution and just take over the whole freaking world. But they didn't. They chose to be isolationist. England didn't. They chose to advance in every way they possibly could, including weaponry. And England was able to take down all of China's resistance and destroy the walls of isolation and force China and other countries all around the world to trade with them because they had the technical supremacy. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're not doing. It matters what your competitors are doing. Oh yeah, Rebel Intel. I agree. Protectionism and restraint. I don't think we should tariff Mexico. I don't think we should do that. I don't think we should tariff Mexico, but we should tariff major auto manufacturers that have exported the labor needs to Mexico. Look, because we have cars that we make in America, we have cars that we make in Mexico, and the cars that we make in Mexico sell for the ones that are made purely in America. That's BS. That's just Ford and GM gobbling up profit. We should heavily tariff American companies that have done that. We should heavily tariff American companies that are like that move their money around just so they avoid taxes, so they avoid paying taxes. That's what I think. I think there should be some restraint, um, and there should be some protectionism, but the protectionism has to be very very focused. Like, all right, I mean, just trying to think of one example. Okay, fine. Chinese vehicles, certain Chinese auto like EV like electric vehicles. I could see that. That makes sense because we want to keep ours going strong. But all right, not everything from China. Even Chinese steel. Chinese steel goes into so many different products, so that actually hurts us. You know, yeah, it just tariffs have to be like laser focused. I'm sure you've heard a lot of economists say that. That's my thing. No, I don't support the tariffs. I think the tariffs are destroying us. I think the tariffs can damage us tremendously. Even Anheuser-Busch cans and bottles in Mexico exploiting cheap labor for profit. Yeah. Well, see, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that because I'm sure other countries are doing the same thing. If you can make a product much cheaper somewhere else and then sell it at a profit, good for you. Um, I just the thing is, let's think about this. Mm, okay, we tariff sugar. We put very, very high tariffs on sugar so we can support a rotten and decaying sugar manufacturing industry in this country. When we shouldn't. We should just export that need to the Caribbean countries. But because we don't do that, we are actually limiting the growth of the Caribbean economy and just endorsing, a lobby that should have died a long time ago. That's a very common example, but like I think one thing we did wrong when it comes to tariffs is the semiconductor industry. See, in the 1980s, the U.S. was the best semiconductor manufacturer on the planet, and Japan made decent, low quality semiconductors. But since the Americans were so successful with tariffing motorcycles against Japan, we were like, okay, we're gonna tariff all the semiconductors. We were gonna really stick it to Japan. But no, that didn't happen. Japan, in retaliation, they just started making very advanced semiconductors, but they also started heavily investing in Taiwan, China, and South Korea for semiconductors. And it took off in South Korea and Taiwan. And so, what the United States did through these tariffs was they completely altered the supply chain of semiconductors. And they actually killed our semiconductor manufacturing industry. If they didn't kill it, they severely hobbled it because we are now reliant on Taiwan for the best semiconductors in the world when we should have just relied on that ourselves. All right, let's see here. What about tariffing Canada? Okay. Um, what about tariffing Canada? The ones on our raw. No, we shouldn't tariff Canada. Why? Why on earth? Why on earth would we tariff a reliable neighbor that we've been at peace with for like what almost 200 over 200 years? They are our largest importer. Like yeah, exactly. They are our largest exporter of oil. So 60% of all of the oil we import come from Canada. Most of the lumber that we import comes from Canada. We absolutely shouldn't be doing that because lumber, okay, great. We tariff lumber. Guess what? House prices rise, home prices rise, construction rises. And guess what? We've also kicked out so much we're de-incentivizing immigration, and about 15 to 20% of our home construction labor force is undocumented workers. So it's like, okay, great. Prices are going up no matter what happens now. Chinese EV ban only makes U.S. auto manufacturers less competitive long term. Well, see, electric vehicles. I think Tesla can still. I think there's still hope for Tesla to make an affordable vehicle, but I think with Ford, with GM, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. We shouldn't be protecting them. Like if they can't compete against China, then they deserve to collapse. This is a major conundrum. We have healthy discussion on in the IR classes. The IR, oh, international relation, got it. Because Canada tariffs us. It doesn't matter if Canada tariffs us. It absolutely doesn't matter. Like so freaking what? They tariff us, but we still get to enjoy the benefit. We still get to immensely profit off of the goods that they tariff us with. We have a disproportionate advantage with Canada, and especially because we import at such a large scale. And they're tariffing us most likely to protect their industry from us. We tariff we tariff any other country that makes a pickup truck. Any other country that makes a pickup truck, we tariff 25%, and we've been doing that for decades. All right, so it's not like we don't tariff anybody. But industries we want to protect, we tariff the heck out of. So Ronald Conway, you have to think better. Again, if you're gonna try to have any discussion with me, you have to have your facts lined up, not just ridiculous Fox talking points. You have to know things. Is it possible that this whole idea about bringing manufacturing back is so Elon's robot make? Maybe. Yeah, yeah. I guess just have robots and automation. Like I made a post earlier today, about 4 hours ago, that we have we have enacted something really that looks so disastrous, that either it's just total lunacy, and our president is just that much of a fool, or this country is preparing for something. This country is preparing for something we're launching. That's again, it's like maybe 10% possible, but if you're because what we've done is, aside from alienate our allies, is we have very much weakened the energy market, and we've weakened Russia and Iran's ability to just finance their overall budget. So there's that, which means, China relies on Russia and Iran for more than just, well, they want to rely on Iran and Russia for more than just energy needs and agriculture. They want to have these strong alliances. But if this keeps happening, like both Russia and Iran's economy will just keep being hammered and weakened, and it weakens their ability to be like any kind of reliable ally to China. And okay, so and then of course Russia's fighting, Ukraine, and Iran is probably going to have to deal with some more Israeli strikes coming. Okay, and then it's just China. And all of a sudden, like, China gets these ginormous tariffs. So I think this just sounds like preparing the ground for some kind of major shakeup. And I don't know if it's going to be a military shakeup. I don't know if it's going to be some kind of resource shakeup, or maybe, like what you just said, didn't even think, some automation shakeup. Like, because this can't be the end product. If this is some part of a logical plan, this can't be the end product. This is like a prelude to something much, much, much bigger. And again, that's only 10% possible. So it's either our president is a complete total raving moron, or something worse is coming that's been planned. Let's talk about euro and sterling pound currencies. Oh man, yeah, this is it. Like the euro and the pound have been kicking the crap out of the dollar. So is their debt. Do I think we're close to going to war with China in the next decade? We're closer than we were 5 months ago. And that's a real shame. I mean, I wish that wasn't true. William B. Up until a few weeks ago, I was like the optimist. Like I was a dispeller of fear mongers. Like, okay, hey, no, let's just, let's all keep a cool head. Let's all be rational. The dollar's not crashing. We're not going to war. We're not doing any of these things. We're not getting overtaken by China. Like like the president at the time, Biden, I was like, he's actually leading us. He's actually navigating us well through this disaster. So is the Federal Reserve and all that. But now, the very foundations that gave America such an incredible advantage are in question. And that's scary. And I got blasted for years. Oh, you're such a pro-America propagandist, blah, blah, blah. I'm not being pro-America propaganda. I mean, I am pro-America, but I don't think America's getting out of this unscathed. I think if we keep going this trajectory, America is going to be very, very hurt, and we could be led into a real disastrous economic setback, like maybe a huge recession or worse. Hey, Wesley Circus, thanks. And you're from Brazil. We're not worried around here. Not much. Well, you shouldn't be, Brazil. You guys can pick up a lot of the slack that America leaves when it comes to agricultural exports. And also even with that when it comes to energy. And you're probably getting a ton of foreign direct investment from China and the EU. But about America going to war, I was convinced, like, oh no, America's not going to go to war. Why would we go to war? We have such an advantage and no one's really going to question us. But we're doing these such foolish displays. We're shaking up traditional alliances. Are we inviting someone to really challenge us? Like, are we inviting someone to make a first move so we can, like, crush resistance? Or are we really showing poor leadership and weakness? Because if we show real weakness, like real incompetence and weakness, then I think war is inevitable. Great to see you too, Rebel Intel. Our soybean industry is probably going to boom. How come? Views on the extinction of animals. Extinction is a part of nature. It's a sad part of nature, but nonetheless, that's always been happening. I mean, except we're more of a direct cause in it now. Yeah, so everyone on YouTube, you can see my living room. Nope. Uh-oh. Let's see. No, that's even worse. Alright, here we go. YouTube. Pardon me, YouTube, for messing. Okay, there we go. Just trying to give you guys a better view so you don't see, like, the cut off at the top of my head. There we go. All right, here we go. And this is my TikTok phone, guys. Okay. Good evening. Oh, hey, Tootie, how you doing? how how are you on constitutional crisis Monday? Well, I'm concerned. Um, I'll be more concerned if he starts doing this. I don't know if it's escalated, but if he starts doing this to actual citizens, then it's going to be an even worse problem. I mean, it already is because he's bucking the federal courts. And I think if it makes it up to the Supreme Court and he, dismisses the Supreme Court, then I think we will see even more of an economic catastrophe because the world will see that the rule of law is not applying in the United States anymore. And I think that can crash our economy. Oh, soybean. Okay, I get it, John Adam. Yeah, it seems like they're making things up as they go along. You're right. Oh, de-extinction. Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's see. Should the U.S. start mining more rare earth minerals? Well, we've been, Leon Jing, we've been doing that, and I was praising it for a long time, like for a couple years. I was like, hey, we're actually, weaning our dependence off of China. But even though we have a lot of rare earths, we were discovering now, we don't have a lot of refining capacity. That's what we need. We need refining capacity, and we don't have the scale of refining capacity we need in order to wean ourselves off of China. We should have spent however much time we needed to do that. I don't know, maybe 5 years or 6 years, and then do something that upset China to the point of completely cutting us off from their refined rare earth exports. West has only one powerhouse. East has many economic powerhouses. China, no. West has a couple. Like Germany is a huge economic powerhouse too. So is England. The Netherlands, believe it or not, they're a pretty potent economy. And France, they're big. I forget France, but the others are quite productive. What is the break-even point for oil? Yeah. Oh, so crude is around 60. Our break-even, I believe, on average, is about 65 a barrel. Views on BlackRock and Panama. All I know is BlackRock controls the Panama Canal or something, or they have a huge stake in it, and China left. They got forced out of the Panama Canal deal. Something. Alex, that ain't true whatsoever. Let's see. What did West is? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt. So guys, again, I want to. Oh, okay. I want to again tell you to. Oh, sorry. All right, open the registers, but yeah, exactly. You're right. This is it. So I want you guys to follow Econ World One. Please get off my page for just a minute and follow this guy. He has about 62 followers now. He needs 200 if I'm going to get him on a live stream. He already agreed to do it on the 16th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Yeah. Oh, no, sorry. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And he needs 200 followers, so please go do that. All right, so Abe, why is it that different cabinet members say different things? Yeah, there's no cohesive message. There's nothing. I mean, like, it's really a charade. But each time Trump has been the president, I'm like, do these guys actually do anything? Or is there just some AI person telling them? Or is there just some, like, secret council that actually makes the rules? And these guys are just actors in a theater. I mean, I don't know. Oh, thank you very much, Don, for doing that. Yeah, I'm live on YouTube now. I'm live right now, Marcus. I know it is pretty crazy, money. So Alex L. Okay, so East, Singapore, India, China, Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand, Japan, Korea. You are absolutely right. And if you're gonna include India, India is not a powerhouse. They're just big. They're a large population, but their economy is a third or actually a quarter of China's. So they're not an economic powerhouse. They're not a gigantic producer of goods. They're actually not a major exporter. China, absolutely. Vietnam, they're getting there. There's a lot of assembly in Vietnam. Philippines, yeah. Now, Philippines is much more on the side of the West. Same thing with Japan. Even though Japan is working with China to, dump U.S. bonds, Japan, Philippines, Korea, they're terrified. They're terrified of Chinese expansion. Vietnam, the Philippines, Japan, Korea, well, not Japan, but Korea, those three countries have dealt with centuries of China either ruling them or trying to expand and rule them. So those guys are much more on our side, including India. They are those all those countries are much more willing to work with the West in order to stall a China advance. Why didn't silver recover like gold? From what I've been reading, like as silver isn't as controlled as gold. That's I mean I know it's heavily manipulated, but nowhere near as manipulated as gold. Oh, 72 following. Yes, thank you, Solomon. All right, guys. So he has 72 followers now. We have to get him to 200, so 128 more. Back to YouTube. You're in battle with social media, man. Yeah, this is it. Well, no, I'm on YouTube and I'm on TikTok. I'm trying to monetize both. But I mean, YouTube, I'm only making like $2 or $3 a day. It's very sad, but it's something. You know, thank you guys. There are 3 people on YouTube watching me. I really appreciate it. Do you think China is gonna beat us? Well, it's China is closer to beating this than maybe they've ever been. Thank you, Dom. Oh, Dom, what do you mean delivered? I'm sorry. I don't know if they're gonna beat us yet, but they're catching up, and the risk of them beating us is more real than it's ever been. Do I think if we go to war with China, we'll become the next Britain and Germany after the end of World War II? No, because as bad as America is being right now, nobody wants to see a victorious authoritarian China. Joe Crow, thoughts on Peter Zehan? I don't agree. I think like his idea that China's going to completely collapse is wrong. China's not going to dissolve into other states. So okay, back to the World War II. No, I think if it came down to war, I think America would get almost everybody on their side. Even Russia would be terrified of China because like Russia's China's neighbor. There's no way China wouldn't go after pieces of Russia. Like Russia annexed parts of China since the 1860s, maybe even earlier. You know, when China redrew the map, they included parts of Russia, India, Malaysia, Philippines on that map as a part of China. So, yeah, I think if there was a war with China, it would devastate a lot of Southeast Asia, and I mean it would harm the world economy. But I still think the U.S. would come out on top. This is it. Well, this is it. I don't. I make no money on TikTok right now, but because I have viewers here, I can get interest generated in things like, people are joining my book club, so people are signing up for my Patreon. I guess I would like to see if I could. If you're already following me here, I would love to see people on YouTube. Is this immigration crackdown driven by hate or national interest? I think it's driven by satisfying the hate of the ignorant. That's what I think it is. I think it's also driven by it's driven to set a very fierce example. Because I'm guessing that they believe that immigrants come here with too many entitlements, and they don't want immigrants to feel entitled. They want immigrants to feel so scared and just grateful to work here, which is just there has to be a happy medium. Hey Shruti, how you doing? That's a beautiful name, Shruti. What does Intel guy think of Peter Zehan? Oh, thank you, Rocky. I'm glad you like my content. Doesn't India and China have constant clashes? Exactly. Dom, that's it. That India and China have had like bloody conflicts. Like there was the war in 1962. There was the war in 1969. China won in 1962, but India won it in 1969. You think the tariffs were necessary in China? Lots of IP theft and dumping going on. Joe Crow, I understand that. Fine, you want to completely go after China? Great. But you don't alienate all of your other major trading partners. You do not alienate India with high tariffs. You do not alienate Vietnam, who has been taking your side over China so many times. You don't alienate them with tariffs. Same thing with Japan, South Korea, the EU, Canada, Mexico. If we sweeten the pot with the entire world and we're like, we actually reduce our tariffs by like, let's say 1% everywhere, but just increase our tariffs on China, that would have been brilliant. And it would have been so targeted. And the world, the EU, they're sissies. They will just follow okay, we go here, we'll do this now. Okay, fine. Just you'll give us, natural gas and oil and money. Oh, fine. But, Trump alienated the EU in some ways good, because now they're getting the EU to spend money on taking care of themselves. Great. Um, and the EU, I mean, I'm sorry, but they were very stupid for still trading with Russia after Russia invaded in 2014. Russia violated the Budapest Memorandum. Russia violated the Helsinki, what was it? The Helsinki Accords in 1975 by invading Ukraine, by taking Crimea. And Europe just, oh, okay, we'll still buy oil and natural gas from Russia. Stupid. Stupid and weak. Did I see Ray Dalio's interview this weekend? He has a book, Changing World Order. I'm going to read it again. And, well, I mean, he's getting more right now as our president keeps doing these stupid things. Oh, thank you very much, Ziki. But, guys, even more important. Sorry, I just burped. I'm so sorry, guys. So, again, guys, I really appreciate everyone following me and being so supportive. Please follow Econ World 1. He is an author. He's the author of this book, New Ideas from Dead Economists. It's like the economic history over the past 350 years. He just goes over all of the great economists. It's a very interesting read. He wrote it initially in 1989, and he keeps updating it every 5 or 6 years. And like I said, he was an economist for the White House. He does all these huge things. And I reached out to him on Twitter, and he responded. And so we were talking, and he's willing to do an interview on the 16th. On the 16th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But he needs 200 followers on TikTok. So in order for the live stream to take place, he needs 200 followers. Someone told me he has 72 followers now, and we need that to be 200, so 128 more. And, so this is it. So someone said I should ask more frequently for people to join Patreon. Okay, here, I'll do it. I am on Patreon. TikTok cut my funding. So if you want to just support me, so I can keep doing what I'm doing, please join that. You can go for as little as $1 a month. That's general support. But for $5 a month, you get invited to the book club. You get access to chats. You get access to content that isn't anywhere else. And then for $10 a month, you get access to all the chats. If you want to reach out to me directly, that's the best way to do it. And oh gosh, there's something else. Oh, also for the $10 a month, you can join the chat and just tell me exactly what you want me to post. So I have I'll just post what you guys want. That'll be the $10 a month club. And you say, hey, can you post about this? And I will. Yeah, it does. It makes no sense, Monty. Thank you, Dallas. Thank you for saying, preach, preach. I don't mind preaching. Sometimes I feel preachy. What do I think of BricsPay? Funny thing is, every BricsPay card that was issued has 200 rubles in it, I think. Or $5 in Russian rubles. I don't know if that's 480 now. 480 rubles. So clearly they want people to spend Russian money because their currency just is it's worth even less than rupees, I believe. Worth less than Indian rupees. I mean, I think it's useful, but remember the bank that supports BRICS, that's the New Development Bank, they're powered by dollars. Buying oil from Dom, buying oil from whom? Feed the Filipino. Hey man, how you doing? I'm a pragmatist, not an alarmist, but this ignoring of the Supreme Court is scary. This ignoring of the Supreme Court can do more economic damage than the tariffs. Because if we see this huge divide between the president and the Supreme Court and things start to get very heated, where our president is abandoning the rule of law, then I think we will see trillions of dollars leave the US. Like trillions, maybe tens of trillions leave the US bond markets, the overall markets. We'll see a huge flight to safety from the United States. I don't know why TikTok cut my funding. They just said community guidelines violation, even though right before the notice my account was in good standing. Rin, I don't know which country you're talking about with exports. So Rin, please tell me, which country does exports only account for 3% of the GDP? So Russia, even after the invasion, what do you mean dumb? You agree with me also? Yeah, a huge brain drain. Do analysis on tariffs that affect Europe. Well, the immediate effect on Europe and China's markets is that Europe and China, or at least Western Europe and China, will become closer with trade relationships. For all we know, China has been dumping U.S. bonds. They've been dumping U.S. Treasury bonds and buying Euro bonds, or like European Union like bonds, or Euro. I don't want to say Euro bonds. Whatever bonds there are. I don't know if Germany sells their own national bonds or if it's part of the EU, but they are definitely also buying UK bonds. So there's that. There's closer trade relationship. Um, and then Europe is kind of out to dry because now they're picking up the reins to deal with what's going on in Ukraine by themselves instead of a unified effort. Now they have to devote a lot of resources towards creating weaponry. Um, now what else will it do with China? As Europe devotes itself towards building weaponry, it will most likely lose manufacturing presence or lose potential manufacturing presence to China's. So while Europe is making weapons, China can keep making cars and other electronic goods that they export to, Europe and other parts of the world. And that's a market that the European markets will be missing. How is the dollar doing? Not well. Rin, no, just tell me what country you were talking about. Could I explain why the bond rate? The bond rate's dropping because the entire world is now selling their US debt, primarily China and Japan. They're just dumping US Treasury bonds. And when that happens, they're not sell like they're trying to sell their Treasury bonds, they put it on the market, but nobody's bought them yet. And the fact that nobody's bought them yet means that there's very little demand for US debt. When that happens, the United States, they do whatever they can to sweeten the pot for their debt. They say, okay, our debts, our $100 T-bill is only worth like $90, so we're going to give a really good interest rate, and that's why. So there's just very little demand for U.S. debt, so they raise the interest rates on that debt, and it's barely enough. And I think the reason why it's mainly China and Japan is because they're the largest holders of U.S. debt, and this is the way they could really harm the U.S. economy. Wait, the bond rate's going down? Okay, I gotta see. Huh. Sorry, I haven't seen the bond rates in the past 6 hours, but last time, like everything is almost still over 4%. Do I think BRICS pay could affect inflation? I don't know how. Like because of lack of demand for the U.S. dollar? I maybe in time if the dollar is actually abandoned, but I don't think so. How will the Supreme Court rule on birthright citizenship? I have no idea. Ultimately, do I believe the tariffs are as devastating or um the tariffs are they yeah, I mean, can they be weathered? Can they be weathered as we're being weathered down, as we're being worn down as an economy? Trade barriers, like blanket trade barriers, hurt economies. Every economist will tell you that. Every single one. the most conservative economists, like Milton Friedman, would have said, "Oh yeah, no, tariffs are bad." Thomas Sowell would have said, "Yeah, tariffs against other countries entirely are bad. You only tariff specific products. That's it." Yeah, Japan is dumping U.S. bonds, big doggy. China holds only 20% of U.S. debt. Conversion king. That's just, you have to think so much better than that. China owns 20% of US debt. Okay. Japan owns about 30%. That's half. Oh, wait, no. Wait, I'm saying. No. Actually, you're completely wrong, Conversion King. That's not true at all. China holds only 20% US debt. Sorry, I'm thinking. No, they don't. China doesn't even hold 10% of US debt. US debt is $36 trillion. 36 trillion. If China had 20% of US debt, that would be $7.2 trillion. Your math is completely wrong. Now, if you want to talk about US foreign debt, China holds about there's about 8 trillion in US foreign debt. China holds 700 something billion dollars. So they own maybe 9% of US debt. Japan owns about 16%. So China and Japan, that's 25% of US debt. Now, if they dumped all of that, I don't think you understand economics if you don't think seeing 20% of a supply of something enter the market. Like, if you don't understand how that could be bad, then you don't understand economics. Shruti B, I'm glad you agree. United States economy and government is too unstable. You move to, I get it. Who wins, Harvard or the administration? Or the Trump administration? Trump. Trump administration, by far. I can't run a business in an environment that moves at the way. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you're right. Businesses can't run when the economy is in turmoil like this. Conversion King, that makes my case. Okay, yeah, so I see you're still delayed typing. How do we know China and Japan are selling bonds? Could it be other bondholders? That's reported. It's not hard to find. Like the Bank of China, the Bank of Japan, they just dumped hundreds of billions of treasury, or tens of billions or hundreds of billions of treasury bonds into the market. Change for what? 1.3 trillion China, no, not 1.3 trillion. China may be holding on to 1.3 trillion US dollars, but if you just look up treasury data, you literally just go to Google and look up foreign holdings of United States debt. You'll see that China owns between 700 to 750 billion. Wow, 10K likes. This is it. Thank you so much. Guys, really, thank thanks for the likes. Will China collapse? No. China's not. China can hurt, but China's not collapsing. It's not like they're going to dissolve into different countries. Guys, I want to take you back. Econ World 1. Please give this guy a follow. All right, his name is Todd Buchholz. He is the author of this book. He's the author of this book, New Ideas from Dead Economists, initially written in 1989. He updates it every 5 or 6 years, puts in modern examples. It's brilliant. It is by far the best book I've ever read on economics. And I just, like, anyone who wants to major in economics, you should read this book first. Read it, highlight it. You will know more than probably any other economics student. It's so easy to read. It's so simple, but if you really understand this book and look up all the references, you will know more than probably your economics professors. Thank you very much, Sen Gut. I'm glad you like the live stream. How will this impact John Fork stocks? I don't know. Wex, could China be holding bonds with private banks in foreign territories? Possibly. The US is heading for double-digit inflation? Possibly. Yeah. Oh, Easy Roby, it's called New Ideas from Dead Economists. And if you follow this guy, you'll see he writes it. He's the author of that book. Oh, I'll show you the book. Sorry. New Ideas from Dead Economists. Will manufacturing come back to the United States? Yeah, but nowhere near to the extent that this administration is telling you, for the sheer fact that we lose comparative advantage. And if all the manufacturing came back, or even half the manufacturing came back, those factories could be built, set up, and then they would be closed in 2 years. because they wouldn't be able to sell anything because the prices for the goods are way too high. Easy Roby, I try. No, I am not Hungarian. Will USA economy be okay? No. I mean, I don't know. It depends. If we continue down this path, no, it will not be. We will lose our purchasing power. We will lose our ability to import as well. Yeah, we will harm our ability to import. And I mean, if the world manages to like keep us out of the supply chain or minimize it, then our exports will hurt, which means our manufacturing will be hurt. Job gain from factory versus job loss from tariffs, please. Okay, sure. Well, first, those factories that are supposed to be coming here, it takes years for those factories to be built. Years. So 2 years, 3 years, maybe longer. Okay, so the jobs, so those jobs gained from those factories will take 3 years or more to show up. The jobs lost from the tariffs will take 3 months, 6 months. And it will be very difficult for us to accumulate capital to build as many factories as we need in order to, to have those jobs brought back. Imagine Buffett waiting for the last big visionary investment of his life. Oof, you're right, this is it. Why choose tariffs over innovation and healthy competition? Oh, easy, because the billionaires and other interests lobby the politicians, they bribe the politicians, and they say, hey, I'll give you all these things. You just tariff this country and don't force us to modernize. Don't force us to modernize. And that's it. That's just, that's what happens. It's corruption. Entropic reaction. Manufacturing also doesn't always mean jobs. Dark factories reduce labor. Yep, exactly. Will tariff negotiations fix the negative impacts? It will lead to a recovery, but it won't be enough of a recovery because what we did with these widespread tariffs is we violated dozens of trade agreements with key partners. We violated dozens of contracts. The foundations of contract is that we respect the rule of law, we respect strong property rights, and we respect contracts. Those are ironclad. Those are three huge tenets of capitalism, and we just abandoned it. So there are all these countries that it doesn't matter how much they like us, they will start investing somewhat away from the United States because we have shown we are not reliable. We haven't just shown that we are not reliable with our politicians, but we are not reliable with our people being so stupid that they elect these same politicians. So we lose. We lose foreign direct investment in that. We lose trade deals to, other more stable competitors like Germany, the Netherlands, Japan, South Korea. So I think the only way we could really solve this is if Congress steps in and completely it makes a law or an amendment in the Constitution saying that the president can never tariff again, that they do not have the power to tariff. And the Supreme Court should it should pass the Supreme Court as something constitutional. So much for the free markets. Exactly. The free market isn't really free, right? How can I build a factory if you need to import from China to pay for the tariff? There you go. There you go. Yeah, exactly. But not just that. How can we build a factory of, let's say, semiconductors and everything when most of the goods needed will come from other parts of the world? And in order for us to build the factories to build those goods from other parts of the world, we need other goods from other parts of the world. And okay, if we don't, it maybe, okay, well, we have to build it ourselves. It will take us years to get the know-how to even build that. Tariffs are being used as a tool for a regime change in China. There is no healthy competition. No, Efson, like tariffs for regime change in China. Unfortunately, what these tariffs have done is they have galvanized China. They have galvanized Southeast Asia to cooperate once again. Thank you, Spanish Gato. Just saying, Manila is top 10 digital nomad location. Nice. Oh, thank you very much, Bob. Yeah, well, call, not just, no. They don't answer the phone, Shruti. I mean, like, there has to be shifts of like, I don't know, a few hundred people every day banging on the windows, terrifying the congressman, like pulling donations, don't or like just pushing to primary them. Who was the last president to impose tariffs on? Um, Biden increased semiconductor tariffs to, yeah, Biden increased some tariffs to China, but he took away the European tariffs. And I think he took away, I don't know if there were more tariffs on Japan, but he definitely, he took away the European tariffs. You do literally, oh, okay, well, there you go, Shruti. Has Koch Foundation lost its power to influence? Yes, because the Koch Foundation, they're detached billionaires and they're not cool. Donald Trump is a detached billionaire, but he appears very cool. And to some people, just like he's the billionaire you want to have a drink with, but that's just because he does have enough. He does have a lot of charisma. The Koch brothers have no charisma. Thank you, Graphene. So sad, a great country. Yeah, we are bringing ourselves down. We are absolutely bringing ourselves down. Buddy telling me this whole tariff thing is just a negotiation tool. No, this isn't a negotiation tool anymore because we doubled down on this. We doubled down on this. We are threatening Greenland. We've threatened to make Canada the 51st state. We are changing the name Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. I don't know if we actually did it, but it's extremely stupid. No, we've pushed past the point of just having negotiating power. Now again, money goes where it's best treated. That's it. Money, that's where money goes. And right now, America has said to the other wealth of the world, your money isn't going to be as well treated here. Your money isn't going to be as safe. And that signal's been given loud and clear. So this will have lasting consequences. Like, there's some wealthy people I've spoken to, and they think things are going. There's a lawyer I know who works, it's like one of the top law firms on the planet. And I mean, God, people are like, and these are people like he deals with like multinational corporations on a daily basis, and they're just like, oh man, they're not optimistic. Thoughts on the Fed independence being challenged? Yeah, and what may happen when Powell steps down in 2026? Trump will just try to get someone who's more on his side, and I mean, that's okay, fine. But I think the Fed is so important that anyone Trump selects who will be more on his side will actually just completely turn the tables on Trump and do what's best for our monetary policy. Yeah, Vietnam and China are chummy. They're getting more chummy. So is Japan. Oh, Mr. Beast said, no, I'm not. You're jumping over to watch me. Oh, thank you very much. Thanks. I can't believe I have 6 people on YouTube and I'm so far away. What are the chances of tariffs being decreased? I don't know. I know that the sooner it happens, the better the American economy will be. Spanish Gato. You didn't know that about Biden? Oh, yeah, no problem. You think Rebs need to start being on the streets with us? Yeah, Rebs need to start being dragged out onto the street. That's what needs to happen. I don't mean violently. I mean like come look at what's happening. When empires fell in history, has it ever? Oh, yeah, look at the British. The British just siphoned the wealth off of the entire world, and they were leading the Industrial Revolution, and then they just chose to like keep draining the world's wealth instead of continuously building the industry to stay competitive, and they lost a lot of industrial production to Germany. And what happened? Sorry guys, TikTok just let me know that I've been on for an hour. We are, let's go. We are living in the biggest practical joke ever. I feel like that, yeah. You sometimes forget we're just a few months. Yeah, these past 4 months have been really long years in the Trump administration, haven't they? US GDP as a percentage is at 26.11%. That's right, Dan. This quarter two will be bad? I don't know. Will tariffs create a global recession? It's possible, yeah. How do I feel about living in the US right now? If you had the opportunity, no, I would not move. My children are here, my family is here. I grew up dirt poor. I grew up, and I don't mean like, oh, we were broke all the time. I mean like I had holes in my pants, I had holes in my shoes. I was in a food insecure household, like, and I worked my way up, to living quite comfortably. And so I could do it again. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how to survive, and I'm sure plenty of immigrants will come in and do the same thing. No, I'm not an economist. I have one of my degrees is in economics. One of my degrees is in economics, and I have a master's in like statistics. But no, I'm not an economist. BK, how do we properly keep building and manufacturing? Oh yeah, like we force our Congress to start taxing corporations appropriately so they can't get their money out with loopholes, and then the corporations have no choice in order to avoid taxation to just build more. That's how you incentivize building more by saying we are going to tax you irreparably unless you build more. All the corporations that have like foreign holdings of money out in Cayman Islands accounts should be tariffed. That's what should be tariffed, not countries, corporations. That's what should happen. In about 100 years, this would be a great history discussion on how unfettered capitalism ran amok. This isn't capitalism. Seriously, this is pure protectionism. That's and protectionism is antithetical to capitalism. It's okay, feed the Filipino. There's no accident. If I were the president, I would have never done the. Okay, if I just became the president tomorrow, I would rescind every single tariff, except the ones, maybe some of the ones against China. Um, I would then, like I said, I would heavily tariff corporations any corporation that is not based in the United States. But well, no, every corporation that is quote unquote based in the United States, but their production is outside the United States, but they still manufacture products inside the United States, and they sell both the offshored and onshore manufactured product for the same price. I would tariff them. I would tariff all the imports horrendously, and be like, okay, you got to reshore back here. You already have factories here. You're back here. That'd be the first thing I would do. I would then push Congress to make an amendment. Um, well, yeah. Uh, uh, wow. I just beat myself. I don't think the president should have the right to tariff. So Congress would have to agree with me. So I would have to push for these corporations to be tariffed. And I would need to really know how to manipulate Congress then, to get them to vote along with me. So, wow. Tariffs can be a really good punishment in the right hands. But in the wrong hands, it can crash the world economy. Wow. But like, I really do want these corporations to be tariffed. So maybe I would limit the presidential ability to tariff to only tariff American companies that have centers in other parts of the world. That's what I would do. That's what I would push for. I would push for Congress to enact that. Just tariff more, easy fix, thank me later. That's just no. Hey Lorelei, it's cool. Yeah, cool, good for you. You're in the Navy, correct? Tariff at the top company. Yes, exactly, Maverick. What about a progressive wealth tax? Absolutely, yes. Other countries have tariffs on us. What are other countries angry when the U.S. KP plays? Sure, I'll tell you why. Um, let's think. The United States tariffs Germany, other European countries about 2.5% for cars. The reason why is Germany, the German companies, Toyota as well, and Japan, they build factories here. They build factories here, so they sell to the American consumer, but they also export a lot of their cars from the United States because it's easier. So we tariff them very lightly, but they tariff us very heavily. because they want to keep their auto industries safe. And it's not like we don't tariff anything. We tariff any pickup truck coming into this country by 25%. Doesn't matter where it's from, 25% tariff. We also put very high tariffs on sugar. So we're crushing the Caribbean industries that could be selling us sugar. But no, we're doing it here, even though it's so much more expensive to do it. So you have to think, why do we want to tariff somebody who has a much smaller economy than ours? We are the world's largest importer, right? We are yeah, by far the world's largest importer. We have a huge scale of need. We are also the second largest exporter. Now, if there are growing economies or established economies with growing industries, and they want that industry to grow, but they're facing fierce competition, not just from America, but from, like, let's say China or Japan, they have a right to tariff every country to protect that one industry or several key products. That's because if that industry takes off, then that builds a stronger consumer base. And if that consumer base prospers, they can buy our goods. They can become our importers. That's what we did with China. We were fine with China tariffing us in the very beginning for, like, 40, 50 years, well, maybe like 20, 30 years, because they grew their industries so well and so strong that they started buying our stuff. They started buying stuff from the world. So tariffs can actually help build a consumer base. And then there's also this KP plays. Let's think. So, sorry, I'm just stretching my legs. It's not like all these countries have a blanket tariff against the United States. Certain things are tariffed from industries you want to protect. Certain things that you need desperately aren't tariffed. So it's not like just this flat out thing. It's more of a seesaw. If there's something you need desperately and you don't have much of an industry for that, it's going to be minimally tariffed. But if you're agreeing to bring something into your country that your country relies, like that may threaten an industry that your country relies on, you're going to tariff it. Just like America tariffing pickup trucks 25%. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to Dude, 906. No, there's no dilemma. Vitox. No, that's the funny thing. Vitox. I've seen the long-term consequences with mass blanket tariffs. The last time it happened was during the Great Depression. That was the very last time. The very short term can be very bad for a few years, and factory shutdowns for a few years leads to mass unemployment. And mass unemployment for a few years leads to a massive economic drain and a massive economic setback. And Vitox, I speak to actual economists. I have them, I discuss with them this event on this app. And all of us are convinced that this trajectory has long-term consequences. When YouTube, I'm so sorry. Okay, let me go on YouTube. And guys, don't worry, I'm looking at my YouTube phone right now. Before I do, guys, I just want to plug Econ World. Follow this guy. He's an economist. He was an economist for the White House 30 years ago. He wrote a book, New Ideas from Dead Economists. I'm going to have him on my live stream in a few days, and he needs 200 followers on TikTok, so please follow him. Now let me go to YouTube. Oh, John Mortimer, sorry, I'm on TikTok. Brian Fisher, we're not getting a lot of play about the rest of the world's sentiments, sans Greenland and Penguin Island. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, okay, let's just see. You think the American media is downplaying the hate against our country? Yeah, I agree 100%, Carl. Brian Fisher, we're not getting a lot of play. Okay, good, I got everything. You're a GS, yes, I remember now. What is the U.S.? Yeah, what the U.S. is doing to Ukraine is disgusting, and the way we're just getting on our knees and, like, opening our mouth for, like, Russian diplomacy. No, I'm not Canadian lemonade, but thank you for asking. No problem, KP plays. So some tariffs are good. Do I think the current administration would end it? No, I don't. I don't, because what we did is we ruffled the feathers of every major economy on the planet. That's why it's bad. It won't end up doing well. No. Hey, Bella Dolce Amore, good to see you. William B. Massive unemployment always makes it possible for warmongering. Well, here's the thing. So this is what scares me is if there is massive unemployment, there's a lot of stupid people, and a lot of stupid people can be convinced that there's massive unemployment because of the Democrats and because of whatever immigrants are left, or because of minorities, because of Muslims, or because of, some people say Jews, but not no one on the right. Well, okay, sorry, I shouldn't say that. No huge politician on the right, because then they'll get. But there will be a lot of internal division. There'll be a lot of blame, and it won't give people jobs, but it'll give them someone to hate, and that's something that stupid minds have an appetite for. Do I have a backup country to? No, this is the only country I live in, so I'm here. Seems like downward pressure is going to hit our oil industry. Yeah. Well, anisotropic reaction. I believe that our oil companies are already dropping production because of what's happening. They're either dropping production or they're shutting down. Not all of them, but like some. All right, guys, I gotta go. This was a lot of fun. Please, please, please follow this man, Econ World, because I want to have a live stream with him. He needs 200 followers, so please get him to 200 followers. All right, and I'm gonna keep pushing for him. And again, he wrote the book New Ideas from Dead Economists. If you want to be in the book club where we talk about this book, please sign up for my Patreon. And once I finish the interview with him, I'm gonna just start putting videos up for you guys to share. Oh, I just burped. For you guys to share your thoughts. All right, thanks a lot. All right, I'm taking off YouTube first. All right, YouTube. All right, we're doing this.